Hyvää päivää, arvoisat vieraat. Esittelen tänään meidän Sunborn International yhtiön toimintaa ja vähän tulevaisuuden suunnitelmia. Pahoittelut, puhe on valmisteltu oikeastaan englannin kielellä, mutta se tuskin nyt haittaa meidän kansainvälistä sijoittajayleisöä. So welcome everybody. Today we will be presenting the Sunborn International PLC company and company's activities and our future prospects and why this is a good investment for you guys. So in the background of this company is a family office dating back 50 years in history. And most people here in Finland probably know us from landmark hospitality and event centers like Naantali Spa Hotel or Logomo. That's kind of how we're typically portrayed as here in Finland. In the background of the company, we've been running hotels, doing real estate development, kind of globally for over 5 decades now. And on the back of that, in the family office, we tend to grow companies from ground up and then look at those companies that have an international prospect to grow outside of Finland. And Sunborn International is one of those companies in our group over the 50 years that we've seen a tremendous amount of potential. We've spent an awful lot of money in developing the concepts for what this company does. But in the back of it is our knowledge of real estate development, shipbuilding, hospitality, and that's kind of those 3 core important things that are being combined in this company and its future. So what does the company do? We are producing what I call PropTech property. So disruptive property technologies and building technologies. We built one of the first modular hotels in the world in 1986 in Naantali. Most people don't know this, but part of Naantali Spa was built on a sort of ship technology that allowed us to do that already in the 1980s. And this concept has been evolving for a long, long time. In the 1990s, we launched the first idea of a movable hotel concept. And that came from the idea that hospitality is very driven by the location and your market dynamics in that very location. If you had a product that you could actually build for the global audience, that it would be movable between different cities, and you can actually sort of basically take it to where it makes the most sense and makes the most profit for the shareholders in the company. That's kind of what the idea is. And so there's a lot of things that make this product really tick. I have such bad eyesight that I can't see. First of all, the idea of a yacht hotel or a movable hotel is quite intriguing because every hotelier in this world is looking for that competitive advantage. There's over 1 million hotels around the world. Quite a few of them are quite similar in terms of brand and standard and whatnot. So here you have a product that naturally stands out. Not only that, but we can take it to, these floating hotels can be taken to city centers in prime cities where land is very scarce, building is restricted, building costs are quite enormous in these metropolitan cities. So you get access to the sort of prime waterside locations in New York and London and Vancouver and so forth. This is also an energy efficient invention. So part of our PropTech promise is that these are best in class in terms of energy consumption, no disruption to the seaways, no discharge to the waterways. And as a hotel element, it really taps into the city's infrastructure. So it's a very energy efficient, very safe environmentally product. And so we've taken it up a notch. So we started in the 1990s with the first build out for the floating hotel. And that was a yacht hotel, and that was in the Naantali Spa. We've subsequently taken to London and Gibraltar. So we built 3 of these kind of ships in the past. What the company is endeavoring to do is become the world's leading PropTech company in floating real estate. The world is our oyster. So it's a Finnish company, but we actually don't have any projects in Finland whatsoever. All the projects are in key metropolitan cities like London, Vancouver, Seville, New York, Miami, and so forth. And so, but not just the hotel concept. We've been developing plans for a long time, and that's part of our acceleration of this company, to build floating event centers, build floating hospitals, build floating residential, and other types of products, using the same technologies that we've already tried and tested with the hotel product. So that's the future ahead of us. Behind this plan and strategy to create a global aspiring growth company in the hospitality and events business, the ownership of these assets, the operation of these assets, you have to have a credible team behind it. And so we have a very international team of experts. Our latest addition to our executive team is Dale Hipsch. Dale's background is over 30 years developing hard rock hotels, Ritz-Carltons, and other high-end properties around the world. So on the back of our sort of core team, we are going out to various metropolitan cities, creating these opportunities for the company, and then also managing the build process and the opening of these assets in the future. This is a video of our existing hotel asset in London. This used to be this asset located in Naantali, Finland. And when the downturn in the Finnish hospitality economy hit in the sort of 2008 and 2009, we made the decision that we're going to take the asset to London, which we did. This asset is making more money than all of our hotels combined in Finland. And it's a 138-bedroom floating hotel. So that alone tells you that the idea is very compelling, that you build something for price X, but if you can take it to a market where it's valued and operating profits are multiple of that, that's kind of what we're talking about. You could sort of call it a real estate arbitrage in that sense. The second asset that we're currently owning and operating is in Gibraltar. It's a 5-star hotel product, 190 keys, has multiple restaurants on board. This is a different type of asset. This is a very expensive passenger class vessel, has propulsion systems and whatnot. And over the future years, we're going to be focused on those assets that are energy efficient, they don't have propulsion systems, and are optimized in terms of the build cost and the operating performance. So we've tried different types of hull models, different types of products, and both have been very successful in launching these products. What does the company do as a whole? So the business model is basically taking everything from A to Z. We used to also build these assets. So we used to have a shipyard operation in Malaysia. We've built these ships in Germany. We've had an outfitting yard in Finland. What the strategy for the company now is that we're working with closely chosen partners for the production in different parts of the world to minimize the cost of transfer and take advantage of shifting tides in the shipbuilding industry. So we no longer build these ourselves, but we rely on partners to do that, but work hand in hand with those partners to deliver this. Our forte is over 30 years of history in searching for locations in key cities, our 50 years of history in global sort of hospitality development. And I think it's fair to say that building these assets, whether it's a floating event center or a floating hotel, the challenge is not building it. The challenge is getting the right locations in the right cities, and that takes a long time and a lot of money to do that. So we have a head start of decades in doing this work, and that's kind of where the pipeline that we currently have in the books is coming from, and I'll show you that a bit later. Some of the other aspects of this concept of movable property is, of course, there's the energy efficiency aspect of it. This is what all the cities that we talk to, all the governments are very interested in their carbon neutrality targets for 2030, 2035. Here's a product that is non-permanent. You can take it to the city center and it doesn't cause any additional carbon footprint because it's removable and it's built in an energy efficient way. And a second key attribute for this concept is the financing. Typically, hotel financing or real estate financing is revolving around land values and appraisal value. Well, here you have a movable asset. It means that it can benefit from export financing. Most OECD countries have an export financing program for building assets and then exporting that to another country. So you get very, very affordable financing. And you get government guarantees from the sovereign nations where we build these assets. So the financing aspect is also very key. And most remarkably, in quite a lot of locations, we don't have the real estate cost. You don't have to pay for the high-valued real estate in New York or London, because you can rent a mooring place for a long time, like 30 to 40 years. So these are some of the key aspects of this. Also, the build construction cycle is very manageable because you're building it in almost like a laboratory setting in a dry dock with a shipyard partner with guarantee structures in place. So the sort of greenfield development risk that you typically have in developing new products in new markets is lesser for this movable product. And also I would point out that we operate these assets ourselves. So we're trying to sort of fortify our position in terms of the owner of these assets, the builder and the designer, not the construction entity itself, but the key is that we have the cash flow of the operations as well. So if you're investing in this company, you're investing into the future development of a fleet of hospitality and PropTech assets around the world that are going to be basically delivering a above average premium, what you can see in those cities in terms of yields on those properties. So this is a better proposal than building a kind of standard land-based hotel with the land cost and whatnot. The pipeline of over 3,000 bedrooms comes from the long-standing development work in those cities. So we've been active in pursuing locations and licensing in multiple cities. That's the biggest bottleneck in how fast this company can grow. The second is how fast can we raise funding to deliver these massive investments. It's a very capital-intensive business. What we've done so far, we've trialed different types of hull models. We've been designing new types of floating concepts, and we're getting better at it. The latest model, which is this Evolution series, is a 136-meter five-star hotel. It's energy efficient, has no fossil fuels, and the build time for it is around 20 months. Now, that's a very compelling story when you think that every city that has a hospitality demand for rooms would be very interested in something like this. It's a quick fix for a sort of shortage of hotel rooms. The build cost for these assets is also quite interesting. So if you look at the US market in general, so the whole of the US five-star hotel market, Cushman & Wakefield does an annual survey on the build cost of how much does it cost to build a five-star hotel in the US. It's over $1.5 million per key, per room. Our build cost for these products kind of varies between the ranges of whether it's 5-star plus, whether it's 4-star plus, whether it has conferencing, whether there's a casino on board, but it tends to be hovering around sort of 400 to 500,000 euros. So that gives us an immediate advantage to go to sites like Toronto, New York, Vancouver, London, Miami, Sydney. Our financial targets are pretty lowballing what we're expecting to be able to do. So this is based on our current confirmed and existing pipeline for London, Vancouver, and then Seville. So these are the three things that we're going to be focused over the next 2 years to delivering. London is a replacement of the existing award-winning, best-performing hotel in London. So we're going to upgrade that to a larger entity, 223 keys, raise the standard of the current hotel from 4-star to 5-star, and enjoy the benefits of the infrastructure and over 30 years of license that we have in London to operate it. The other one is Vancouver. Vancouver is a very similar type of product that we're proposing. The London Exhibition Hotel is a sort of key market for us. We benefit from the exhibition center, and we're one of the sort of primary hotels for the London Exhibition Center. And this is how we ended up in Vancouver. So Vancouver is also connected to the local convention center, so we get that bulk of basic business from them. And our parking is inside the convention center. And in addition to the hotel part in Vancouver, we're planning to build our first floating spa and restaurant concept. And this is all taking advantage of the fact that we have a long-term agreement in the city center with local strong partners tied up to the event center. And so this will become a real destination for the Vancouver waterfront. Vancouver, if you haven't been there, it's a beautiful city. 5 minutes left, I'm told. It's a beautiful city and has a shortage of 6,000 hotel rooms. And the average rate for the 5-star market is around $480 a night, and they're running at 80% occupancy. That's for somebody who runs hotel in Finland, makes me weep, because we all want to be there. Well, here we have a product that we can deliver, and we can deliver it fast and take advantage of that. And what a beautiful site. And this is why the Vancouver city is so interested in pursuing and supporting this, because this becomes not just another hotel in the market, but actually something that everybody aspires for in terms of energy, quality, aspirations, and bringing out the maritime nature of Vancouver. London Hotel quickly touched on that. So this is the same site where we've been operating our floating hotels in London for 20 years. We have a 30-year extension for the license, and that's why we're now building the new hotel for the London market. 225 keys, 5-star hotel, basically benefiting from the fact that we already have the staff, we already have the clients, we already have everything in. It's just switching that asset. Now, that's a very interesting idea if you imagine that you build something, it runs really well, it's running at 82% at the moment, our London hotel in terms of occupancy. So clearly we're at the upper ends of what we can do with that product. The fact that you can change it, switch it over in 10 days' time and suddenly have an extra 100 bedrooms or whatnot, that is what makes this product tick. And the location is, again, it's a really, really good location. When we started out in this location 20 years ago, that was in the outskirts of London. That is not in the outskirts of London today. With the Elizabeth line, you can go to Green Park in 3 stations or 4 stations. You can go directly to the Heathrow. You have the city airport, which is around 500 meters away from the hotel. And the mayor's office of London is also located 200 meters away. So what a great site for that. And then this is our Seville project. So again, a 30-year license in Seville. The plan is to take, once the new ship in London is ready, we'll take the hotel ship to Seville, where we have a beautiful site next to the Seville Aquarium in the city center. So this is a good example of the relocation possibilities of these kind of floating assets. And notably, when we started out in London, the first hotel was 100 bedrooms. We ran that up to sort of 80% occupancy, replaced it with the 138-bedroom hotel that we today have. And now we're continuing on that path, and now we have the 3rd hotel in London coming at the end of 27, early 28 opening. And so we've gone from a 100-bedroom, 4-star hotel, then eventually to a 5-star, 225-bedroom hotel. And in the future, we're expecting to be announcing more details on our sort of key other development projects. As we, for example, run and operate the Logomo Center. So one of our concepts is Logomotion. It's a floating event center that is geared for sort of 5,000 to 8,000 people. So these are the things that we're currently working on, finding the right partners for where to pilot these products and who to operate them with. And that's, I think, for the pipeline in 26 for us to develop further. In the board of the company and the executive team, I said it's a fairly international team. We have 4 board members at the moment. I think we're expanding that to 6 board members in the beginning of the next year. And then we have our international executive team with Karen running our UK operations. Dale just joined the company a month ago. And then Andrew, our marketing director. Mark, who is our COO, also comes from a background of 5-star hotels here in Finland. And then Jenni Saari, our CFO. That, in a nutshell, is Sunborn International. So global, PropTech, hospitality, real estate arbitrage, and I think this company is going to go a long way. Thank you.